All right, here we go. Welcome into the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Senior here with you. And as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making our post-game reaction show a part of your evening. That was really rough. Niners lose in Week 18, 13-3. The Seattle Seahawks will get the number 1 seed, home field advantage, a first-round bye, and Seattle wins the NFC West going into the 2025 season. Seattle 10-1 odds to win this division. I really like the value of that because I liked what John Schneider did during the offseason. A little bit of a reset like the Niners. They got rid of DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, made the move for Sam Darnold. I liked a lot of the pieces that they had on the defensive side of the ball, and I think that Mike Macdonald is a rising star as far as a defensive mind and defensive play caller. You saw in this game tonight why I believe that to be the case. What a coaching performance by Mike Macdonald in this game. This Niners offense had been in fuego, on fire. Brock Purdy was playing better than any quarterback in the National Football League. And in the last few games, San Francisco had dropped 26 points on the road against Cleveland when it was windy, cold, and rainy. Scored 37 points against Tennessee. Dropped 48 points on the road against the Colts. And then last week in that epic back-and-forth shootout, San Francisco scoring 42 points. Brock Purdy had combined for 13 touchdowns in the last 3 games and 10 touchdowns in the last 2 games. In this game here tonight, this will be remembered as one of the worst and hardest to watch Niners offensive performances under Kyle Shanahan. And a couple of things can be true, right? The Niners finished the season 12-5. Kyle Shanahan's going to be in the running for Coach of the Year. San Francisco would not be 12-5 if it weren't for Kyle Shanahan coaching and leading this team. This could also be true. He got his ass whooped from a coaching and play calling standpoint by Mike Macdonald tonight. Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive coaches in the NFL. Mike Macdonald, one of the best defensive coaches in the NFL. And from start to finish, the Niners offense could not do anything. Of course, it hurt that San Francisco was without Trent Williams at left tackle. And that hurts your run game and your pass game. It hurts that San Francisco could not stretch the field at all without Ricky Pearsall. It hurts that the Niners had a short week, but so did Seattle. I mean, look at these numbers here. Seattle, 361 total yards of offense. The Niners, 173. Sam Darnold, 181 passing yards. Brock Purdy, 120. Seattle running for 180 rushing yards. The Niners, 53. And then on third down, 6 of 13 for the Seahawks, 2 of 9 for the 49ers. Time of possession, 37 minutes and 48 seconds for the Seahawks, 22-12 for San Francisco. And I had tweeted this out on my X page, at Chase_Senior. This sums it up. The Niners offense tonight could not run block. They could not pass block. Brock Purdy was under pressure all night. I mean, when he got to the top of his drops, even while Kyle Shanahan tried to move the pocket and have Purdy roll out to the right or the left, as soon as he would try to roll out, there were guys in his face. He got hit hard all night long. One thing, too, was how sticky the Seahawks were on defense. The Niners had nobody open with the exception of a late 20-yard pickup for George Kittle. There was no separation for San Francisco in this game. The Niners were awful on third downs. They got stopped on a 1 4th down play, which was slow developing in short yardage that I hated the play call on. The Niners turned it over in the red zone. A brutal drop, which led to a pick out of the hands of Christian McCaffrey. That pretty much decided the game right there. And the Niners scored 3 points. And the Niners are lucky that the score was what it was. Seattle, on the first drive of the game, took half the clock off the first quarter. They had a 1st and goal from the 1. Sam Darnold got sacked at the 10-yard line. They went for a 4th and goal, got stopped. That's 3 points right there. Jason Myers missed 2 field goals on the night. That's 9 points right there, at least, that the Niners did not give up. And so you got to give credit to this Niners defense because they hung in there. They were on the field a lot. Seattle dominating time of possession. Really, this game comes down to this offense being horrid. Kyle Shanahan was bad. Brock Purdy was not great. But I pin this loss on Kyle Shanahan. It's amazing that the Niners are where they are. Finishing the season 12-5, losing Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, still having an opportunity to win the division and get the number 1 seed in Week 18 against a really good team with everything that has gone against the Niners, it's incredible. But with everything on the line, with how good this offense has been, I wanted to see how Shanahan and Purdy would go up against this Mike Macdonald defense, which has caused this Niners offense fits a lot. When Macdonald has been the head coach for Seattle or when he was the DC on Christmas night, when the Niners got shellacked by that Ravens defense. And the Niners offense tonight fell flat on their face. And I also was talking about this during the watch party. A game like this is where the Niners' organizational philosophy, when it comes to the offensive line, really hurts them. In the biggest of games over the last few years, against the best defenses, with physical and violent fronts, the Niners' offensive line has gotten dominated, manhandled, bullied, and it has thrown this offense off rhythm. It has caused this offense to spiral, and in this game, literally from the start of it all the way through it, this Niners offensive line sucked. And when that happens and you can't run it and Brock Purdy is under pressure, you're not going to beat many teams across the NFL. You might be able to go on a crazy offensive spree against the likes of the Titans, the Colts, and the Bears. Those are bad defenses. This Seahawks defense, one of the best, if not the best in the NFL. And against this defense with a white-hot offense, this offense pissed down its leg. And this Kyle Shanahan performance was pretty dubious as a play caller and head coach. So San Francisco here, they will be either the 5 seed or the 6 seed. If the Rams beat Arizona, the Rams will move up to the 5 spot. If the Rams lose against Arizona, the Niners will stay in this 5 spot. So San Francisco, in the first round, will either travel to Chicago, Philadelphia, and maybe Tampa Bay or Carolina. That is still to be decided. If the Falcons win tomorrow, the Panthers actually win the division despite the Buccaneers beating Carolina today. If the Bears win, the Bears will be the 2 seed. Eagles will be the 3 seed. If the Eagles win and the Bears lose, the Eagles will be the 2 seed. The Bears will be the 3 seed. So the Niners, most likely going to be the 6 seed, will probably travel to either Chicago or Philadelphia in the wild card round. And in losing this game, obviously, you don't get that first round bye, which hurts a tired and worn down team that has a lot of injuries. Man, that was a really hard watch. I mean, it was just a slow death. Death by 1,000 cuts because the Niners offense just could not do anything on offense all night long. And this Seahawks defense, you just got to give it to them. They're physical. They're tough. They can get after the quarterback. They can stop the run, whether it's man or zone. Sticky coverage all night long. And the Niners offense just had no answers. No answers at all. Our 49ers Report postgame show is brought to you by PrizePicks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard. But in life and on PrizePicks, it always feels good to be right with high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night. The action never stops, and PrizePicks lets you take control. New feature alert, PrizePicks now has early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out of those winnings before the game even finishes. Find your community on PrizePicks with the new social feeds feature. You can share PrizePicks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like and use them as inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow PrizePicks partners like us and tail or fade our picks with just one click. Hopefully you faded us tonight. Christian McCaffrey, more than a half rushing or receiving touchdown. George Kittle, more than 63.5 receiving yards. Sam Darnold, more than 206.5 passing yards. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Injury update on Brock Purdy and others. Brock Purdy sustained a stinger, a nerve issue on his neck or shoulder on the final hit and play. Not believed to be too serious. He had stingers in 2023 in December as well. I'm also concerned about his thumb because it was bleeding at the end of the game. On a follow-through, his thumb hit the helmet of a Seahawks defender and it was bleeding. And so you lose this game, you don't win the division, you don't get the first round bye, you don't get the number 1 seed. You had a situation where you wouldn't have traveled at all if you continued the Cinderella run and made it to the Super Bowl. But now you don't get that rest, and now Brock Purdy is injured, and we'll have to monitor his status all week long. Now, I would imagine Brock Purdy plays in the wild card round, but he was slow to get up after he got annihilated in the pocket. Kind of got sandwiched and tabletopped in a way. So a stinger for Brock Purdy, nerve issue with his neck/shoulder. Would have returned to the game, according to Kyle Shanahan, if he needed to. Linebacker D. Winters had an ankle injury. He never returned. He got fallen on. And then linebacker Tatum Bethune had a groin injury. Those could linger into next week, according to Kyle Shanahan. On Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall sitting out with injuries, Shanahan said they were pushing it. It would have been too risky. They pushed it up until the end. Hopefully they can come back in the wild card round because witnessing what we saw from this Niners offense tonight, the Niners need both of those players. Shanahan on Seattle. They've earned the number 1 seed. They've played like that throughout the year. We're going to have to earn it. They have a good pass rush, tough to run the ball against, tough to get explosive plays on, and Kyle Shanahan had said that this week because they run that 2-shell defense to limit explosive plays. And the Niners had no explosive plays. They couldn't get the ball downfield. They couldn't pick up yak even. They just could do nothing well at all. So one of the more fun yet emotionally draining Niners regular seasons comes to an end. And now what to expect in the playoffs? I think the Niners are only going to make it so far with this defense. This defense, it just has a ceiling. And this team has a ceiling because of the defense. The formula for the Niners to have a chance of making a playoff run, they're going to have to score more than 30 every single game. And they're going to have to live with the defense just not being that good. That's what happens when you're without Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. The biggest thing in this game for the Niners defense, awful tackling, not good on third downs. They gave up 39 carries for 180 yards. Kenneth Walker, 16 totes for 97, 6.1 yards per carry. Zach Charbonnet, 17 for 74. There was the 3rd and 17 backbreaker of a third down conversion for Walker. There have only been 2 3rd and 17 conversions on design runs this year. The Seahawks have both. This game and week 2. And that just deflated this Niners team. Cooper Kupp had two big third down conversions on that final drive. 2 for 29 in the game. JSN made some nice plays downfield. He's so slippery. 6 for 84. The Niners did have a couple of sacks. They had 2 sacks of Sam Darnold, 1 for Tatum Bethune, one for Sam Okuwanu, but they're unable to generate pressure on a consistent basis. Again, it's just the reality with this defense, which is why I think everybody's expectations should be tempered here. Shanahan also saying after the game, now we have to do it the hard way. And they do. Got to go on the road and pull off some upsets. Can the Niners win a playoff game? Yes or no? Let us know down in the comment section. Sound off with what you think. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And thanks for watching the show. See ya.